safety rules for urbex mining and why the Backrooms video you might look up called Pitfalls is a bad example. For the purposes of dramatic effect for storytelling, very often you'll have cautionary tale style stuff that demonstrates, like a shop safety video, how not to do things and how to get yourself killed most efficiently. This is one of them. The example in the video, which I will link to, shows people eventually walking up to a floor that's filled with holes in it. This is directly equivalent to looking at an unsafe floor level in an unfinished building inside of a city, or a building that's being demolished, or an abandoned building. Unless you learn all of the safety protocols, you won't know that don't enter. Then they have one person violating every OSHA rule. Yes, I'm acting like a safety Sally. Get off my lawn. He goes across this pitfall room and then ends up at a door, opens the door, looks inside and says, "Oh my God," and they ask him, "What?" And then he doesn't tell them what it is. See if you can count every single time this person broke Alpha Omega protocols, or whatever they're called, in the subject matter of how to explore urban abandoned areas, mines, or anywhere. All the person would have to do is articulate in a cogent, understandable, unambiguous way what the hell they're looking at. Well, I lack the mental capability of explaining things. And for purposes of perpetuating our the narrative, you must come across here so we can have an incident where you fall through one of the holes in the ground. Because it's a cameraman, and the cameraman never dies. Because expediently, the cameraman can't die unless it's found footage, which is this is found footage kind of stuff. The proper procedure is don't cross. If you do cross in such a way you're carrying a cable so that if you fall, you can be towed back up against gravity's will. And more importantly, let's talk about what happens from SCP, Secure, Contain, and Protect, Secure Containment Procedures methodology. The instructions they give are based on actual protocols for handling anomalous materials like uranium safely, or any other material, and include how to handle unknown substances in the best practices method. If your entire thing you're dealing with that is an unknown is potentially a building filled with supernatural creatures, you should have a set of protocols that make it to where you dying is almost impossible, because not because you're important, you're replaceable. You're D-class personnel. It's because you don't want to feed the demons, unless that's the whole point of your visit. Yeah, we're bringing Fred here. He's going to be our newbie. Now, this also harkens back to people taking you into some scary place and scaring the hell out of you because they know better about the place, seeing what your limit is for being scared and how brave you are. Otherwise known as violate every rule and see if you can get your friend's leg or neck broken. So why am I being a safety Sally about this? Proper procedure is, as he goes in, "Oh my God, what is it? Bring the camera. Record this." "Okay, Fred, what's your safe word?" "What do you mean?" "The word we say that we've been assigned that day, that we say when everything's okay and we can be trusted." "What's the word, Fred?" "I forgot it." "Okay, so nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to come over and rescue you. And we're going to set off the explosive to kill the monster that's obviously taken over your body because you're in an alternate dimension with an infinite number of rooms and pitfalls." And is anybody getting this? I mean, they're walking along, leaving a breadcrumbing trail, a piece of, I'm assuming, adhesive tape that grabs onto the carpet as they walk, so they can find their way out because it's so confusing, and also because maybe the building has moving walls. You may know of, or may have seen, some buildings that are configured with removable walls, so they can be reconfigured for anybody who moves in. The building owner will make it to where all the walls can be unplugged, essentially, and slid into a new position so you can make different sized rooms. I've only experienced this in one building, but it was floor to ceiling, well, to false ceiling, rooms that were made that way. They would plug into the ground, and at the corners there would be put over an outlet in the floor. The outlets were placed at regular intervals. That'd be where you put your wall in, and you just put an outlet in there, just plug it in. On one side of the wall, you have a little box that you could access that would show you the plug. It's not against the rules as long as you get a waiver from the city or county. But the point is, this could also just be a building that changes shape. That's one of the reasons people consider it a spooky environment. And again, people vandalized the whole series about it being people worrying about being forgotten or abandoned. So to amplify that effect, we get OSHA violations and basic urbex/mining exploration rules being violated of, let's see if Fred's really an alien-possessed monster now by walking across a bunch of pitfalls. So anyway, that's my commentary on the video series. Why am I doing this? Just like Enhance became a thing that a lot of you believe in, and some of you are angry with me pointing out that it doesn't exist. When you look at a picture, a static picture, you can't really enhance it to the point you can get what you think you see in it or want to. Video is another story, but it's also kind of limited too. We have memes like this throughout our history of people doing the thing like, let's go in the basement, even though we're, it's a building that in an area that was haunted by a serial axe killer. Yeah, let's go in the basement. What the hell could go wrong? Some of you have been conditioned to do this kind of crap. You know people who have. You might have done it yourself. I know I have. Because everybody's a reckless, stupid moron. Instead of learning from these idiots' examples in these movies, we duplicate it. How many of you gone onto, a night away in the forest in the cabin and had illicit sex and consumed drugs? Well, actually, I haven't because I'm a boring person. Totally. But anyway, I'm sure some of you have. And did the monster killer come out? The killer come out with an axe and a Jason Voorhees mask? That was me dressed that way. So anyway, but the thing is, because these are plot devices in movies and in books, people internalize their own enabling of failure by doing this. I just did a little while ago a video about someone who recklessly went up in the mountains where people go missing all the damn time in a desert area, and he went missing. He didn't make a decent record of where he went. I only found out a few of the places he went. I have a good guess. Some of you think that's a standard for people who go exploring in the mountains. Or the rough and tough pioneers of the day. No, they were paranoid about making sure they left a pathway, a trace, and recorded things. That's why we have maps. People mythologize and theologize how people did things in the past when they were dumb or smart in a way that is the opposite of what they are. Reckless isn't brave, it's just stupid. And I've dealt with search and rescue incidents where people had to have it explained to them, no, the reason we don't have any sympathy for you is because you basically set yourself up to die in the desert here. High altitude desert in Eastern Oregon. But no, you're not a hero. You're an idiot. And you're going to be depicted that way in the news. And we made sure of it. You wasted an entire city's time trying to locate you instead of doing some very basic shit like, where am I going and what am I doing? And leaving it with a relative. You may have noticed that people who do that are really boring, but they don't end up on the news being heroically rescued. And some of you can name off the top of your head at least 1 or 2 people who had that happen. And you might get mad at me for criticizing them. But it's deserved. Are we supposed to condition ourselves to be okay with doing exactly the thing we should have learned not to do from watching it screw up other people or kill them? But hey, it's a video series on YouTube and it's cool. But the point is, when you watch these things, point out to yourself and each other what they should have done, and then do that. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.